Neverdeath Graveyard. What kind of secrets are taking place here, and why is this such an interesting location for the Vecna Eve of Ruin first chapter? Let's find out. And when I mean Vecna Eve of Ruin, what I'm talking about is there is a new adventure for Dungeons & Dragons for the tabletop game, and it uses an area that has already been in the Neverwinter MMO for a really long time. So we can use this location as inspiration for our runs of the tabletop game. In fact, recently when you make a new character, it was changed so that the very first thing you do is have a quick introduction to Valindra Shadowmantle attacking the city with an undead army. And after that, you come to this location, the graveyard known as Neverdeath. And this is a location within the city. It might look like it's outside because you see walls there, but this actually is a border inside the city itself. And so now new adventurers to Neverwinter, and I've just made a new bard for this purpose, they come to Neverdeath to begin their adventures. So let's take a look back and say, okay, here is the map of the Forgotten Realms and its Sword Coast area. Zooming in on the city of Neverwinter, you see Luskan up to the north. Luskan's seen as sort of the northernmost of the Sword Coast cities that isn't like getting into the Icewind Dale territory. Then Neverwinter below it. Neverwinter, as we've talked about before, is called that because the warm river coming out of Neverwinter Wood and Mount Hotenow, which is volcanically active, heats the water such that you never freeze over in the port, making that port very valuable. Whereas Luskan will deal with ice trouble, and even to the south there might be some of that. Neverwinter, the port is always one that you can use. This was also ruinous during the Spell Plague when the magic of the world, the weave that holds magic together, went awry, and during the Spell Plague, it was actually a river of lava coming through the city, and there was massive upheaval. So we're going to take a look at some of the information related to Neverwinter and the Neverdeath Cemetery. Most important here is that the fantastic information really comes from the Neverwinter 4E set. This awesome book by Matt Cernett, Ari Marmel, and Eric Scott DeBee. This is what really kind of the Bible for the setting. And the Neverwinter MMO team, as well as the 5th edition team in writing Vecna Eve of Ruin's first chapter, really looked at the lore of Neverwinter and from that book. The city itself, if we look at the city of Neverwinter here, zooming in on that map, you can see that there are these different districts that exist. And this is the map that's used in the book, the main map that's inside the book. You can see the river, how it flows through. So bringing that warmth to the city, and then coming out into the port, so it keeps it from freezing over. You can see that the Spell Plague brought a lot of change, like this enormous chasm that's there. That's now has apparently been filled up per the Sword Coast Adventures Guide for 5th edition. But back when the Spell Plague took place, which is about 100 years before the current time, these devastations were enormous and significant. Some time has now passed, and at the beginning of the game, as well as where we are in 5th edition, which is a little bit earlier than 5th edition, I should say, we're still struggling with these changes. The city was sort of completely in ruins, and it is a person from Waterdeep who comes and says, hey, I actually, Lord Neverember, I have in me the blood of the Alagandar, of the old Lord Nasher Alagandar, so I actually have the right to rule this city. And he puts on the famed crown of Neverwinter that shows that he in fact can wear it, because only members of the lineage can wear the crown. Of course, lots of people know that crown is a fake, and he is an imposter, or at least he's pretending to be from the line so that he can rule this city. He took his immense wealth that he'd gathered in Waterdeep, and he, as an open lord there, and he came here and rebuilt, or helped rebuild it. It wasn't a perfect rule, and has not been a perfect rule by any means, but he has made the place more livable. So if we look at this map, kind of center and left, you can see there is a Neverdeath Graveyard Let me see if I can zoom in on that a bit. I'm gonna, so you see that graveyard there. So there to the left in the middle. So you can see how there are these walls that circle around the graveyard, and there's also a Pauper's section of Neverdeath up above it, just to kind of diagonally up to the left there. But this is, right by Protector's Enclave, right near Castle Never's not far, the Hall of Justice. So this is, in the heart of the actual location. So all of this is of interest because of this new book, Vecna Eve of Ruin, and you can see the cool alternative cover here you can get in game stores. This has brought to attention to Neverdeath because the first chapter, and we're going to have a few spoilers here. So if you are going to play Eve of Ruin at the tabletop, then you want to know, you want to not actually really watch the rest of this. This is really for dungeon masters to use in thinking through how to run Vecna Eve of Ruin. So the adventure in chapter 1 takes you to Neverdeath Graveyard. It's also worth saying that there is a prequel for Vecna Eve of Ruin, and in that prequel you also deal with the city of Neverwinter, where there is a cult underground, and it doesn't really super tell you where in the city it's located, but it's somewhere in underground of the city of Neverwinter, not in Neverdeath. But still deals with Neverwinter, which is kind of cool. All right, so here we are, and we are going to go speak with what's called a Doomguide. And this area is just so full of lore. You can see somehow there's a commoner here. Really, there shouldn't be. The lore that is established in 4th edition is that this place is closed off, and anybody who scales the walls seeking riches probably dies at the hands of the undead. Because what's happened post-Spell Plague is that all these dead have been raised by Valindra Shadowmantle, and she's sort of set it as her base of operations inside the very city to attack the city from both within and without, right? She wants to take it by breaking its defenses, but she is raising an army inside of the very cemetery. So Doomguides are folks who follow Kelemvor, and Kelemvor is a god of death, but also of people who are dealing with the passage of a loved one, right, of the bereaved. And the Kelemvorites are not a death god in the sense of glorifying death. They care for the dead. And so undeath is unnatural and an abomination that should be ended.
Kelemvor, watch over you. I am Doomguide Volok of the Eternal Order of Kelemvor. It's my mission to see Neverwinter Cemetery reconsecrated and the city purged of the undead. In the last few days, there has been an alarming surge.
Yeah, so this is great. This is from the Book of the Lore, where it's saying all of a sudden more and more sort of bodies are going missing, undead are rising. What's happening? Why? So yeah, some kind of rituals could cause this. Some powerful necromancer may be at hand, and they say red wizards of Thay have been spotted in Pauper's field. I'd wager that means Valindra is involved. Yep. So, we're hot off of the beginning of the campaign where we saw in the MMO that, Valindra Shadowmantle, this Lich. So there's a link there to the Vecna, who's also kind of a Lich, but now God. So Valindra in this case is our main foe for the MMO, and just finished attacking the city, so it's not surprising.
Although it humbles me to admit it, the Doomguides of the number of undead in the graveyard is growing at an alarming rate. If something is not done...
So Doomguides have been sent to Pauper's field, but for some reason they have not come back, so something has happened. The threat is bigger than the Doomguide can kind of handle. So that's our initial quest. We can come up here, we can see an Acolyte of Kelemvor, and we can read Graveyard History. And let's take a look. We're starting off our, all we did was come into Neverwinter. We have a blank lore sheet, which is very cool. So the last 26 years following the ruining, that's where that spell plague came through and brought the city to ruin, have been unkind. The city has been in ruins. Only a small determined population has hung on and kept the city from being overrun by outside forces. Dead have been buried anywhere you can. And in the 4th edition book, it talks about that really what's now happening is cremation because of this fear that the dead will rise. The Neverdeath name is not actually about the idea of undeath, right? That you never truly die. Neverdeath, the name, is really about the graveyard being a place that was said that the dead will never truly leave us, like be gone from our memory and so on, if the city sort of remains warm, right? If the river is flowing, if the city is working, then we'll always have this graveyard and always remember our loved ones that have passed. The Eternal Order of Kelemvor, God of Death, natural end to the cycle, but they, you know, care about, kind of like we talked about, the undead, so that's cool. I dig that. I dig the look here. This is pretty neat looking. I do have a mount here that I've equipped my new character with. You can see, you know, there are NPCs we'll deal with later. We've got a faction with the Harpers and Harper Windle, a place where we can get loot, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. And so we will check in on our quest here. Acolyte Naaman.
I'm so worried about Severn and the others. Let me know what I can do to help. We spotted creatures moving in the rift that were not undead. Severn suspected they might be behind the mass rising of the dead and wanted to investigate. He sent me back to inform Doomguide Volok, but that was yesterday, and we've heard nothing since.
So they're saying the rift, and I'm not entirely sure whether they mean a spell plague rift or a Shadowfell rift, but I think what they mean here is a spell plague rift. And one of the things that's happened, you see, like if I look around at the terrain, you know, all this sort of like up and down, this is, and you see the scales of Kelemvor, that's the holy symbol of Kelemvor. What happened due to the spell plague is the ground went up and down. And look at this, there's a massive chasm, right? If I jump over this, I'll be dead. All this upheaval has severely impacted the graveyard as well. And so if we go over here, you see they've rigged sort of bridges on remains of the wall, which is really cool. And so we're going to go to this rift and see what we learn about what has happened. And all of this can make really cool additions to a larger campaign around Vecna and Neverwinter. In the Neverwinter campaign, or in the Eve of Ruin book, and again, spoilers, we are really going in to seek kind of signs of of really missing people that have maybe fallen to cultists. And we're following up on that, leads us into a graveyard. And one of the things that's cool, you're going to see what those graveyard tombs look like, the tombs that you walk through, the dungeon kind of tombs. But also there's some neat outdoor areas that you could use to create neat scenes beyond just that initial gathering. So here we are at a Doomguide camp. So this is the camp they came to investigate this so-called rift. We can see where we are in this map of a little mini area. And there's a fallen banner. We can see a Kelemvor, or no, some sleeping mags there. Desecrated, no longer channels the power of Kelemvor. Stains look like blood, but we see no bodies. Oh, and oh, look at that. We have some undead, battle white, rotter, and more of them. So we will try to deal with the undead. And hey, we took down the undead. So now our little healing circle's back if we need to camp here. So it's neat. You can see, I mean, again, this is this huge chasm that maybe is what they're kind of considering a rift, or maybe they mean an actual portal to Shadowfell. Not sure why we have these kind of spooky torches, but that kind of contributes to the cool atmosphere. They're little kind of neat spots and nooks. Oop, some Deathledge Knolls. That's kind of cool. Knolls and a treasure chest, kind of fun. I like those kinds of extra details where you think there's sort of nothing around here, but hey, there were actually gnolls watching us the whole time. All right, so we will head back on our quest here along this rickety path. I love it. I love that feeling, right? The broken ground gives you the excuse to have like a really neat sort of varied terrain. Ooh, that looks cool too, whatever that is there. So we're gonna come over this way and see, oh yeah, another Deathledge Gnoll. And what's the other guy? Another type of gnoll. Aha, and that looks bad. Some gnolls feasted. The gear appears to be human in origin. Backpack journal, broken symbol of Kelemvor, and the final entry says, the Red Wizard, so the Thayans, have used a dark ritual to prevent us from calling upon Kelemvor's might. I overhear him tell his Gnoll servants that we were to be taken to another portion of Neverdeath near the Soldier's Memorial. The wizard took Doomguide Severin into the nearby crypt. I could hear his screams from here. May Kelemvor grant us strength. Perhaps there's time to save him. Search for him in the nearby crypt. Okay. Yeah, so that's bad. Some more. Am I, though? Neat. Look at that. Like, right? I love the sort of topsy-turvy look. And there's like a... I guess it's supposed to be a statue there. But we're going to go in through here. I also noticed that some of the architecture looks like architecture that we see in the Shadowfell. I have a video on the Shadowfell, and it's worth talking through about, you know, when they said rift, I have a bit of a question because the book explains that there is actually a permanent rift to the Shadowfell in Neverdeath Cemetery, and Valindra is using it to kind of gather forces and travel back and forth. She says she can travel to Evernight by means of a shadow crossing. I'm reading from this book here, from the 4th edition book. She can travel to Evernight, the Shadowfell version, mirror kind of dark version of Neverwinter in the Shadowfell plane of shadow and undead, by means of a shadow crossing, a place where the thin boundary between the mortal world and the Shadowfell is easily breached at the center of Neverdeath. She's wrought a teleportation circle for this purpose, and so she uses it with her necromancers. Very cool. There's also some really neat information in the area about the Water Clock Guild, and we will talk about that later. But first, let's deal with more gnolls, some Hunt Masters, another Death Pledge gnoll. So we're here in this kind of darkened central area, very eerie light from up above. You see some, what's that? Yeah, broken stuff. More gnolls. Gnoll lackeys. Yeah, I am not your fresh meat. So I'm playing a bard, which I have not played before. I don't know a lot about it. I have a ranged psychic attack. I have a lunge that's kind of good, and then I can increase the potency of my either damaging attacks or songs of healing if I want to. I think my idea is that later I might become a healer, but for now I'll just stay on attack to make it through this. Okay, so there is in fact a red wizard with a deep into a ritual right now. He has a Death Pledge gnoll right there. We get some lore on the red wizards of Thay, since this might be the first time for a player dealing with that. That was good. Red wizard throws some lightning at us. We're gonna pull out all stops to take them down as fast as we can, and they are down. Aha! Doomguide Severin was hiding behind. How clever, Doomguide Severin.
Thank you. I'm not sure how much longer I would have been able to hold on, but my companions were also taken by the Thayans. I pray there is still
Alright,
time
so we gotta
to
save the rest of them. And oh, look at that. We've got a little portal. How convenient to return to the graveyard. Cool. So you got to see kind of one look at dungeon, a very small one, but there are some neater ones out there. So we will take a look at that before we kind of really talk about sort of what's found in the Vecna adventure itself.
Gnolls, you say? The Thayans have never been very particular about who they ally with. I'm sure the gnolls are here as expendable muscle.
Yeah, good. I like that they clear that up. Why are there gnolls? Now we know. Hired muscle.
To Kelemvor. He protects the others until we can.
Cool. I become 3rd level, and now I get some additional quests. A Rich's Lament.
Reports of cursed whispers and nefarious magic coming from a strange object recently unearthed in the graveyard.
Okay, this is kind of a fun quest. I think it used to be sort of random, and now it's sort of instituted. But we'll go and do that.
I believe the red wizards are purposely drawing.
Yeah, we heard that there were some additional Doomguides that have been taken, so we must find them before they get used for their rituals, and we'll get some weaponry and stuff as a result.
Valindra's allies, the red wizards of Thay, are raising the dead in large numbers.
Consecrate the grounds so that the Valindra can't just raise more undead. Sure, okay, that's fair. It's cool. So we'll continue on here, and so we're continuing to go into this area here, which this is really the Pauper's Field area. So again, spoilers on the adventure, but if we look at what's happening in the D&D Beyond version of the printed adventure, we can see that Lord Dagult Neverember, the acting lord, the leader of the city of Neverwinter, hires the characters to his villa in Neverwinter. We've kind of seen what that villa probably is as part of some of the videos where I covered the River District. There are a bunch of guards and priests of Ogma, the god of knowledge, and you are brought in basically around 4 prominent citizens being kidnapped. And we are told what the 4 are. None of them really are ones that I recognize from anything involving the Neverwinter MMO. And I also don't recall whether they're in the 4e book. I don't think they are. I think these are new personalities. But we have an actor, a scholar, a sorcerer, and a gnome historian. And what we'll find, spoilers, is they all kind of have secrets. And we are told to go, due to divinations, they have found that the Halix Museum, or Mausoleum, in the Neverdeath Graveyard is where they're located. They can't peer into it, so they're very worried that, you know, something powerful is at foot here. And you are 10th level, I believe, at this point. Yeah, 10th. So you go as kind of fairly high-level characters to go and take on this. And we go to the area of Pauper's Graveyard. So when we're running around Pauper's Graveyard, that's actually what it looks like in the MMO based on the 4th edition art and maps, which is really cool. So we can see that the main graveyard holds several mausoleums, some with expansive underground chambers, and it features simple headstones, but some have funded communal catacombs when the graveyard was first built. So we're going to go and see, they talk about sort of these things, and then we'll end up talking about the Water Clock Guild, but we will take that after we get through this next segment to talk about the awesomeness that is the Water Clock Guild. All right, so here we're going to go on this next set of quests. We're going to consecrate some fields. So again, if you're thinking about running some cool extra adventures and you want to kind of increase the kind of scope of the adventure that's in the Vecna adventure, you could look at this for inspiration of the kinds of quests that you could do, right? That maybe we can't just simply go to this mausoleum. Maybe we have to find out which mausoleum it is, and maybe the areas are too dangerous, right? So you have to kind of consecrate the fields. And the adventure text says, you know, that, oh, these fields are too like the zombies and skeletons are no match for level 10 adventurers. Sure, but there are a lot of frightening things in the undead category in all the various D&D books, and so, you know, we can take a look at all these different kind of cool areas, and you can imagine any number of awesome like cubby holes and places where there could be serious threats, right? Undead beholders and all kinds of neat, you know, flame skulls and things. And so I'm just gonna, you know, kind of, you can see like if we go around this area, you know, kind of the cool terrain that there is here. And I'll continue on my way here. So you can see these neat gates, really cool aesthetics here. Everything looks just super awesome. And you see here, I'll take down these guys here so we can take a look at it, but you can see that there are these neat mausoleums everywhere, right? There are all these kinds of little locations and secrets that one could reach. You don't have to be, that guy's still looking for me, I think. You know, it doesn't have to be like one specific place. There are all kinds of spots in the graveyard that you could go after and take an interest in. And I love the details, right? These broken gates and zombies there, you know. The zombies also could be more powerful for a strange reason that nobody understands, right? Like, and that could be something that's interesting to investigate. So let's do one of these consecrations. So you come over here and raise the banner of Kelemvor on this kind of stick that's set up here that meant to hold it. And now the undead rise. And I thought the idea was they're supposed to be destroyed by it, but it doesn't look like they're getting killed by it. I thought in the original quest that I did, these would then like get all taken apart by it. but maybe not. Oh, maybe I have to take out that's what it is. I have to take out a series of them. That's what it is. So once I've taken those guys out, then I have taken care of that field. Okay. And then we heard about the strange artifact. That's also located here.
Foolish adventurer. You have picked up no mere bauble, but the phylactery of Zarafrax, all-powerful Lich. Now, prepare for a battle of wills for your very... You know, I'm really just not in this.
I kind of love that.
Let me be upfront with you. I'm tired of the epic battle of good against evil. I wish I could find a nice, quiet spot.
So here's a Lich. Liches have a device that they kind of store their soul in, and so the idea is that we need to find a resting spot for this. The name of it has recently been changed to avoid kind of clash with Jewish religion. But yeah, so you know, we're gonna go walk around and investigate resting places. You can also see things like a cracked tomb here, which is kind of cool. There's some undead following me. I'm just gonna run off. Let's see, here's my other field. I gotta take them down. All right, take down these little skeletons. And now that that's done, I can raise this banner, and so I'm gonna take down again some more of these undead. But you know, what if it was something like a lot more interesting, right? Like the body parts stitched together to create a giant golem that is going to form itself under this banner, and you maybe have to fight like the different parts as they're trying to reanimate. Like that could be totally cool. So there are a lot of things that you can do with this sort of ritual cleansing kind of concept that would be really neat for a Vecna adventure. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next field, which I think... Let's see, where is this? Ooh, almost fell off the edge. Yeah, bone porters. I like these guys that are just kind of carrying bones around for some reason, right? Like they're some sort of evil. I gotta fight those two. I think a quest will deal with them later. Some Thayans there, so you can see lots going on here, but let's try to find where this spot is. Where is the spot? Over here. Oh, someone's doing it here. Oh, show the location to Zalo. Oh, yeah, in combat. All right. Help them out. There's another adventurer doing this quest. Probably won't complete for us, but we can try it and see. Oh, yeah, it did. Good. So good. So we got that third banner all done. And then this also happens to be a location we can show to Zarafrax.
This won't do it all. The Doomguides have been here. I can still feel the smug sanctimoniousness of the ritual.
It's great. It's a really fun idea of like this, thing that wants to be found. And maybe this is kind of a neat hook too, right? What if to find the location of the mausoleum, you have to work with this Lich's phylactery, or it doesn't have to be a Lich's phylactery. It could be something like, a curio that's tied to a powerful spirit, and rather than slay you, it wants this kind of help, right? So, that's great. I think that's really fun. Okay. Somehow a whole bunch of undead are here. Helping someone else. Okay, so let's start going to... Okay, we did that guy. Second resting place. So we want to go... But look at this. I mean, it's really neat terrain, right? Some really cool spots. Our second resting place is this place where the Thayans were.
The Thayans would surely find my phylactery here. Then I'd either have to kill some young power-mad necromancer or become a lackey of Zastam.
I mean, that's really fun. I love this, right? Just the idea.
Now, don't get me wrong. I respect Valindra's dedication to evil, but that...
All right, yeah, Valindra is not right in the head, so that won't work. So we'll go to third spot. I think that's that cracked area here, yeah.
What have they done to this place? This would have been a perfect location. Commanding view, lovely stonework. Now look at it. Ruined. I bet this was done by some greedy adventurer looking for a few measly gold pieces or a paltry magic sword. I tell you.
That's great. So the conclusion is the guy's like, you know, just take me back to the Doom Guide and let them destroy me. It's not worth it. That's pretty fun. But now we've got an important quest. So you've seen some of Pauper's field here. We've been kind of going around this kind of area and you see some appeal, but we're going to go to this Soldier's Memorial and see even more of Pauper's field, which again is the area where the adventure takes place. So, you know, the adventure could take place in any of these kind of places where I'm walking around. You see lots of skulls and stuff, but it could be, you know, one of these doorways could take you there. I'll also just, well, we'll end up looking at more areas there, but you can see there's more up here, which is really cool. Lots of different locations. And we're going to go to an area that's often used. The Soldier's Memorial comes up in a lot of different quests. All right, so we go through the gates, and which is interesting that it looks totally different on this side than it did on the other. What are you going to do? And this is a really classic place. As I said, it's been used a number of times. It has neat kind of towers and a field, kind of large field area. Sometimes there've been like little extra things, like you can come around here and like find like, I don't know, spider, yeah, phase spiders, that's still there, and some stuff. So it's kind of rewards you if you want to like run around and find things, which I think is cool, right? Show your players a map when you're doing the tabletop game and say, you know, like, yeah, no, there's just, you know, this straight path, but what about over here? You know, these interesting things, and then you can find more. There are also some places, some like sort of shortcuts you can take.
You are too late.
Spots.
He is mine.
Aha, is he though? I guess he is. Oh, so he'd been animated, the poor Doom Guide. Oh, that's bad. So that was a Doom Guide that we failed to protect, I guess. So this is some caretaker's house maybe, and then there are all these additional tombs and mausoleums over here. Nuke it from orbit is the only way to be sure. Burning the dead is the only way to be sure. There is a body we can burn, but let's see what it says on the information here. Cremation has become popular due to the shattering of the graveyard. So, yeah. I think that's everything else we've looked at. So we burn Doom Guide Falstaff to prevent him from being used, and this zombie Hulk did not like it. But that's okay with us. Oh, here's another guy. All right, so this is cool. We see some battle wights coming our way again, and it's not all just skeletons. A zombie rotter and a death wight. Yeah, it's neat, these like broken walls and stuff, kind of cool. Stop the dark ritual. So in this case, the dark ritual, we still have a ghost. Doom Guide Alwyn's ghost, which is a really neat idea, right? Like, you didn't get there in time, but you can talk to the ghost.
Who's there? I can barely see. Gods, I'm dead, aren't I? Well, at least it would explain why the pain has stopped. Thank you for stopping the ritual. They made us watch as they transformed Stonehammer. It was horrible.
Okay, so Doom Guide Winloff managed to sneak away. So we're going to try to find her. I think we can go down here too, so you can kind of, I mean, the broken walls, the like, you can see like an undead crossing over there. It's kind of cool. It's kind of creepy. I like that you see like a foe, you know, that you're going to have to deal with later. But maybe they don't spot you, or even if they spot you, then you're going to fight them right now. Here's a small graveyard, and there's a Fang of Yenogu, a devoted Knoll of Yenogo. Knoll Huntmaster, an archer. There's a little treasure chest here. And you can see over here, there's another kind of area here. Like in some of the adventures, we've been able to come up here and visit into, I think, into that area, if I recall correctly, or maybe it's an area that looks like it. And I thought there used to be like a chest here, but maybe they moved it to be the one that's where we are now. Oh yeah, I have to burn her body. I forgot about that. Gotta let her return to the afterlife. All right, rest well, Arwen. So we've got 2 more that we don't know, and again, here's kind of more like sort of mausoleums on the cliff. We've got some whites. The Deathlock whites are cool because they like tend to summon undead, so you want to take them out first to prevent that. And that's a kind of cool interaction for right characters in the tabletop game to sort of know they need to do that. So we're going to go into this area here to enter the wizard's tomb. Ooh, look at that ambush from archers. Da-da-da. Oh, and Deathlock white. If I recall correctly, there's like a secret door over here. There used to be. Oh, but I lack a dungeoneering kit. Okay. Okay. So let's enter the wizard's tomb, and this can be another kind of idea for what is that mausoleum like in the adventure. Here we have some battle whites and the death whites, so kind of more of those foes we've faced before. Kind of neat, tall ceilings, right? Really huge construction. And we see some sort of eerie light up ahead. Deathlock white. I thought I could kill it fast enough, but it drained me of my life. It's kind of cool. And here we see somebody who's hiding. And also some information. Tomes of Lore. This is kind of nice. Gives you a basic concept of the spell plague. It changed the way magic worked. Blue fire. Spells became difficult to access. A lot of that has been, the lore has been sort of forgotten by the game a bit as it moved away from the spell plague concept, but it's kind of neat to look at that. Origins of the spell plague. The death of Mystra, the goddess of magic, at the hands of the god Cyric with the assistance of the goddess Shar. And Shar's who created the Shadowfell Evernight city, the Shadowfell that has Evernight in it, the reflection, the dark plane shadow reflection of Neverwinter. So Mystra's weave, which contained magic and how it worked, it when she died, it sort of exploded in this cataclysmic power. We get a little treasure chest of goods. And it looks like Arwen was hiding, or Winloff was hiding, so we can talk to Winloff.
Hide before they find us. They're everywhere. Crawling up from the ground and hunting us like animals. There's no way out.
That's freaky.
No. Yes. I don't know. I'm hurt and scared. And ashamed that I allowed my faith in Kelemvor to waver.
Well, welcome back to the faith. All right. So we've told her what's up. Presumably we will help her get out of here. So neat, cool central area. It's a very small kind of crypt, but this is, if you wanted to extend the Ruin Chapter 1, Eve of Ruin, you could have a number of these types of mausoleums where you have to find pieces to open the doorway. Or maybe because you're 10th level adventurers and you're pretty strong and you can just open up doorways. Well, maybe the answer is that you are finding the location of it because it's protected against divination. All right, so we come here and it triggers opening this and we see that strange place up ahead. That's kind of cool. Neat rickety bridge that we climbed under, and there are the undead that were that we saw crossing it. Cool. Gravestones, totally creepy. And let's see if there's anything hidden around. Nope, doesn't look like it. So in we'll go to this mausoleum. I like the little missing column there. And this is a little more like what you'll see in more areas of Neverdeath, where there's kind of cool interconnections, right? So here we've got this upper area, very cool. You can see, you know, sort of like ossuaries, you know, a number of bones are kept here. We can read about the Red Knight, a goddess, the Lady of Strategy, follower of Tempest, the god of war. He raised her to divinity, worshipped by warriors and paladins. Church is called the Red Fellowship. Clerics are referred to as holy strategists. Her symbol is a red knight from a chess set with stars in place of eyes. Got some more lore here. Oh, this is kind of neat. This text tells us about the history of Luskan and Neverwinter. So the rival the two cities have had from being these two northernmost ports. And Luskan, which tends to be more pirates, and also the influence of an arcane group there that we've talked about in the past. Those all kind of result in having sort of an enmity or competition at the very least with Neverwinter. Both were impacted heavily by the spell plague. And it's interesting to see that like the way this, because it was written like just when 4th edition was coming out, or during 4th edition, this game kind of reflects the history where it was, which is like, oh, you know, how is Luskan, right? Not now it's all established in 5th edition because we've moved forward in the timeline somewhat. And this tells us about Tempest, the god of war. So yeah, nice. I like those kind of lore bits, right? And that could be fun. You're looking for lore of where are these ritual sites, and you also find, you know, various other information. So we come down these circular steps. You can see this huge chamber down below. Very cool. And let's see what else there is here. Some kind of big area there. Is there any other lore, anything like that? No, no, no. But there are some undead waiting for us. Ooh, and another one broke out of... Oh, a couple broke out of the tombs. That's a neat idea, right? So you can have tombs that then the doors spring open and they come out. Neverwinter likes to use that trick, and it's totally cool. You know, there could be treasure in there, which is fun. And then we've got Battle White Commander. Okay, so someone is accusing or kind of threatening us here, this Deathlock White, and it looks like there is a prisoner who's not yet been taken over. Oop, didn't get out in time.
You're a Thayan, aren't you?
Nope, not a Thayan. More treasure, and we get, and that's kind of cool. This big, really cool room, right? So this gives you a really good feel for some of these mausoleums that you could describe to players. We've rescued Ganelon, the Doomguide.
I owe you my life.
The idea of rescuing the Doomguides could also be interesting, right? As ways to tell the story and more information. If Doomguides have gone missing just prior to these other people being taken, maybe because these Doomguides knew parts of maybe they had parts of a map, right, or something like that reveals the location. So bringing them back together, you are able to learn where this final mausoleum is. A lot of neat ideas like that.
It was a trap. The Thayans lured us into the rift and ambushed us.
So Valindra wanted the Doomguides to supercharge her rituals. So now we've kind of learned all there is. He goes through what used to be a portal, but it's gone. Oh, there it is.
I should report to Doomguide Volok.
And we will go report as well. I think that's everything we've done in this area. And you can see we've really seen most of it. We haven't kind of seen the upper area. There are a few quests that'll take us there. So now I'll go turn in my quests. Can take in that cool scenery and this huge rift. Really cool.
I've lost too many friends to the undead.
Kelemvor watch over you. By Kelemvor's blade. This is the phylactery of a Lich, a powerful undead mage. This miracle did not try to consume your very soul. We Doomguides strive to destroy the undead, But for one
So,
this powerful, that
this is
not
really funny.
possible. Fortunately, we've constructed an impenetrable
So we
vault.
may not be able to
A
destroy
secure
it, but we have an
location
impenetrable
which can
vault in a
safely
secure
hold
location,
such
location
evils
which
for
can safely hold
centuries.
such evils for
That's
centuries.
what I'm
And then he
telling
says, it's funny, it seems like the spirit is laughing. Well, because
swear the
it
spirit
tricked us
seems to
into
be
giving the phylactery to Doomguide Volok, who will now take it to the impenetrable vault, and it will be safe there to live. Really kind of interesting. Now, liches don't actually live inside of those objects. Their souls are there and then reform when you kill them. But it's still a fun kind of idea.
This blasphemy cannot go unchallenged. We must stop the Red Wizards.
Agreed.
Well done. The dissolution of the dead will slow the ability
Yep.
of... For years, the Tree of Souls was the site of choice for the mass.
I love this idea. The Tree of Souls comes up also in a couple of different quests.
Many dishonorable men are
And an idea that bandits and criminals were hung there, sort of the hangman's tree concept, and that all these bodies of truly evil people were buried below. Well, that's a huge danger if someone comes in and decides to start tapping that energy or raising these like horrible people. And that's of course what Valindra's Thayan wizards are doing.
and are using it.
Valindra's an interesting character because I've talked about her in really the first video I ever made, I think, for Neverwinter, but she became a Lich, but she before that was in Luskan, in the Tower of the Arcane, channeling the power of the Host Tower of the Arcane. So she knows all the secrets of sort of Luskan. She also, and the Arcane Tower, she knows... she's been worked with the Thayans, so she knows a lot about the Thayans, but isn't beholden to them exactly.
I'm glad you are to be my guardian for this ceremony. The power of Kelemvor protects me from the undead while I am performing the ritual, but I cannot complete the ritual while defending myself.
So we will go to the Tree of Souls. You know, it could be that the Tree of Souls, if the cultists of Vecna were up to this, maybe they could be extracting secrets from such a place. That could be a neat idea. And so there would be a reason to go there. So you can see this place is sort of like the last place we went to, that little zone, but a little different, and has a number of neat kind of areas around it. We are told that few spells are frowned on by the Doomguides of Kelemvor as desecration, where you take necromantic magic to make a place unhallowed, which is really kind of the unhallow spell, I think it was in 3rd edition. And so then to consecrate it, you have to remove that evil magic and sometimes appeal to Kelemvor directly.
I can feel the evil power pulsing from the tree. We must prevent the Thayans from using it. Remember, I can protect myself from the undead. I have to perform the
She's not
rites
going to
several
die,
times at
but
several
she
locations
needs
fully
us to
cleanse
help
this
to
place.
stop it. Okay, several locations, so we're going to go to these different areas following her. Cool little areas where you can see like other spots. You can see a treasure chest there we have to get back to. Always fun. Show them the treasure.
I'm starting the ritual.
Yeah. Yeah, got it. So we will take down these undead as she's channeling that ritual.
It wasn't enough. We have to find the source of the evil.
Okay. So we okay. It kind of died quickly. All right, so we'll go over here.
Kelemvor, protect us. I'm starting the
Second
ritual.
grave site.
The evil presence is strong near the roots of the tree.
Shocking. Okay, so off we go to the roots of the tree, and now we can see the tree sort of has this glowing around the roots, which is kind of cool. There's the huge tree there. This tree appears in the elemental evil area because one of the elemental evil princes attempts to channel into kind of people serving the elements decide to attack here, one of the main NPCs. So we were here for that. I like the way that the idea that the tree sort of glows, you know, like maybe some spell plague.
It's the tree. We have to do the final ritual there.
Okay. Yeah, we're pretty much right there.
I'm starting the ritual. Here they come. Kelemvor be praised. We did it. Let's hurry back.
Alright, we have some ghosts that somehow are now standing and protecting it, maybe? Oh, and it also looks kind of like nicer, like the darkness has gone. Kind of cool. If I recall correctly, you can kind of like go around this place and see it a bit. Cool looking kind of statue over there. Cool torches. I thought you could climb up onto the tree, but maybe not. Yeah, there we go. Oh, but not really. Okay. We did see that little kind of graveyard that had a treasure chest in it, and if I recall correctly, there was like a knoll there. It's been a while since I've done this, but you can kind of like access these other areas, which is kind of fun. It's just a treasure chest. Oh, and the Undead Rising. Cool. So there's some more bad guys there, but we don't really need to fight them. Let's get out of here. But I think that's a really neat idea. Fun concept of these spirits being pulled from the roots of the tree. That's kind of neat. And the tree kind of growing corrupt from all of the dead at its bottom. That's cool.
The loss of the corrupting power of the Tree of Souls should slow the Red Wizard's rituals. Hopefully, it has brought us...
Cool idea.
One of Valindra's lieutenants, Zivros, is attempting to raise a powerful ogre warlord as an undead servant. It took 10 heroes to bring down Arleon the Unforgiven when he was mortal. An undead version of him would be truly formidable.
Alright, so now we're going to go to the ruins deep in Neverdeath, deep at the end of Pauper's Field. And that kind of, I think, should close out the Pauper's Field area. So you'll get to see the last of that area, which again is where this takes place when we go to the Vecna Eve of Ruin Adventure Chapter 1. Cross some old rickety bridges. Let's see, I go over... Where am I going? You can see there's lots of other areas we haven't explored, like Thayan's over here doing stuff. Okay, we're going to climb up here. And I don't know if they might have shortened things. Like there used to be... I think you even used to come here and set this up to defend against undead. Because the undead will come up here and die. But there was also a quest to like deal with the porters. So again, I don't remember if all that... They may have cut some of it down to make this a shorter experience. I'm not sure. Okay, so now we're looking for the Thayan camp, and the first thing we find are gnolls. So, you know, it's cool. We established that they're a muscle, so, you know, not a huge shocker to then come over here and find them, you know, gnawing on the bones of the dead, causing trouble.
It's over.
Flay the intruders. Yeah, not so much. Looks like a little campsite here, but no clues yet. No lackey. I like the kind of eerie blue area. And I like the concept that, you know, this land is, because of the upheaval, right? Nothing is just straight like lines. Like everything is angled and twisted and bent, right? The ground coming up and down in various spots, which makes that everything feel off. So here's the Thayan camp. They again have some knolls. Yeah, the idea that you'd search here for clues to see what's going on. Oh, there's an emissary.
The ritual to raise Arleon is nearly complete.
Okay, so we know this Thayan is working on that ritual. Oh, the sound of water falling here, that's kind of cool. A little chest here. It's a fun idea, right? The like waterfall by the camp, and you can investigate it and find the Thayans had hidden some treasure there. That's a neat idea. Could be some lore of what they were up to here, but you know, instead we had the person kind of shout out. I like the kind of ruined columns. Very cool, neat area. And now we're gonna enter the tomb. I hear you, Regis. So here this area is like absurdly, you know, huge, but okay. Very cool looking. This kind of look has been used in various other parts of the Neverwinter area, but it is really neat, and you can see, you know, like a huge pit here. So what are we gonna do about that? Oh, look at that. It's spectral. It's a fun idea. Kind of, you know, a little Indiana Jones, Last Crusade style. And I mean, this is really neat, right? What a cool looking place where you can just see, yeah, the undead, the structure of the cavern, the catwalks sort of all falling off and being all broken, barely standing. Maybe you have to make some checks to cross it, right? That's a really fun idea. Oh, neat. So you can actually like go either way. Aha! Ooh, a dire helm. Those are Shadar-kai aligned. They are sort of Netherese in construction. That's kind of cool. It's neat lighting effects that happen when they come out. Cool. It's fun, again, like the idea that you don't have to go that way, but if you do, a little surprise comes and maybe some little treasure. It's fun. Awesome, right? Just really cool looking place. Hordes of skeletons and other undead. I like the idea of like a sort of walkway there. It's just all like a maze. Really cool kind of three-dimensionality to it. No dire helms jumped at us this time. Wind our way up to stop the ritual. Very cool. I mean, just neat looking place. And pull the lever. Not creepy at all. I like that. Oh, cool. We can fall back to where we were. Neat. Rest stop is always an indication that something's coming up. And let's see, we got some lore here. Thayan ritual magic. Ritual magic has become rarer among arcane spellcasters after the spell plague, but the red wizards are able to focus on one particular school of magic and do all these kinds of ritual methods. They often focus on necromancy, but not only, but that's cool. Thayan wizard. Arleon the Unforgiven has been risen up. Raised from the dead. Ooh, he looks awesome, doesn't he? Let's get rid of these undead. Yeah, pretty neat looking. What's it? Oh, let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah, it knocks me onto the ground. Yep, not too hard, but he does look amazing. And look at that, the fire in his chest and everything. That's really cool. Yeah, he's not feeling too well. And that's it. Okay. But a neat central chamber. Wow, look at that. Very cool. And this kind of glass effect is super neat. So there you go. There's a really cool look at a kind of enormous chamber complex and stopping a ritual. Clayton Newman is right here to talk to.
Doomguide Volok sent us to aid you with Arleon. It seems you handled it yourself. Kelemvor must be watching over you. Do you wish to accompany us back to camp?
Indeed. Cool, takes us right back. I like that.
Kelemvor, watch over you. I should no longer be surprised at how greatly you surpass expectations. Arleon sent many heroes to an early grave. Only fitting that you should return him to his. Your defeat of Arleon and Zivros, and your victory at the Tree of Souls, seems to have convinced
me. So Valindra's pulling back, maybe? That's kind of cool. Get to level 4.
You've done a great deal to stabilize the situation in Pauper's field. The Doomguides can deal with the undead that remain. There is something else I'd like your help with now. We received reports of strange purple-clad figures operating in the portion of the graveyard known as Craftsman's Rest. That means little to me, but it seems to have drawn the attention of the Harpers. And anything that concerns the Harpers is certain.
Cool. So now we kind of switched to second quest, right? We took a look at Pauper's field, which is that area we just covered here. And I think we covered all of it. I might just do a quick look to make sure there aren't any spots I missed. All right, so I took a look at Pauper's field, and there was a little bit more over the edges, but nothing that was particularly interesting. So now what's left is to go to this area known as Craftsman's Rest, and all that it conceals. And this is going to include a series of quests around the Clock Tower Guild, which is something that features in the Vecna Eve of Ruin adventure. If you like the work I do on these efforts, please consider supporting me by becoming a Patreon member. Patreon members gain access to the community we have on Discord, where we discuss upcoming projects and the RPG industry, and you'll gain access to exclusive adventure, encounter, and monster design tools, as well as 2 free supplements: the Game Master's Guide to Evolving Magic Items, and also rules for collaborative campaign creation. If you can't support me with a membership, you can pick up my products on DriveThruRPG, and you can also join my mailing list at alphastream.org to gain one of them for free. Thanks so much for considering supporting me.